Hi everybody, this is Osprey from mychartcoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the marijuana sector. We're going to look at some of the stocks in the cannabis sector here. And first up, we're going to look at the marijuana index. As you can see here, the North American index, it has been in a tight trading range. This is the last month of trading, and so it's been pretty much sideways here. Same thing with the United States index, and the same thing with the Canadian index. You can see all three have been in a tight range. If you check them out on a 3-month chart, you could see how they made that nice run from August into September, and then it's been heading sideways. And so now we're at a point in the charts where they're either going to break out higher and bust through resistance, or they're going to drop down and break through support. You know, that we're going to have to see how long this consolidation pattern lasts, leading into the big event with Canadian legalization. Are they going to take it higher, or are they going to sell the news? Right now, it's been in a holding pattern. Okay, so let's look at NBEV. All right, so down another 22% today. It's been a big pullback. Today, the gap did fill between high of day on this candle and low of day on this candle. You can see the red candle filled the gap. And so now the key is to hold this bottom of the gap support level. Just below is the middle Bollinger Band at 526. And so if that level gets hit, look for a technical bounce off of that level. That would be a good reload level after a multi-day pullback if support holds. If support were to break and there was a close below, that could signal the possible start of a new downtrend. Now it's going to need to get back through the top of the gap and get above EMA's 4 and 8 to get a bullish move going higher. It's going to have to start trading back above 7. Okay, but first things first, let's see if we can get a technical bounce off of this middle Bollinger Band and bottom of gap support level. Many times a downward gap downward gap fill is a catalyst for a technical bounce. Okay, so if you look here at NBEV on the 15-minute chart, you can see how it dropped below all the moving averages. This is the 50, the 100, the 200, the 300, and the 400 SMAs, and the candles are below all those levels. Check out how it's hitting this green line right here. This is the bottom of the gap between high of day on the 28th and low of day on the 1st. This is the top of the gap, and so it came down, and notice how it closed right at the bottom of the gap level. Okay, so gaps are super important. It's very, very important to learn how to trade gaps. Now, if this level holds, this is where it could get a technical bounce. If it gets above the 615 level, that would be bullish, and then that'd be a signal that it's trying to heat up. And then once it gets above that 50 simple moving average at 662, that's when the chart can start turning bullish again. Now, if it were to drop below this 575 support zone, you could see a drop down to 520. That was big support back here on September 28th. That would be the next key level to hold below. Otherwise, you could see a drop down into the 490s, 480s, 490s. Okay, let's look at IGC here. So IGC dropped another 28% today. They had that nice bounce yesterday, and then today it was a brutal gap down open, and so it's never fun when that happens. It had formed a bullish 3 gap downs reversal pattern, and then that pattern was confirmed yesterday. But then today it was just a nasty pullback. It traded in a tight trading range after the gap down open, but it closed back below EMA's 4, 8, and 13. What made yesterday interesting was the close above those levels, above the pink and lime line. Now that it's back below, that's signaling downside risk. It needs to hold the middle Bollinger Band at 422 and the bottom of this gap. This gap filled from a couple of weeks ago. That filled on this red candle. Right now, you can check out how the real candle body is between the top of the gap and the bottom of the gap. One of those levels is going to break. If it breaks above the top of the gap, that should signal upside potential, and then it has to get above this $6 resistance zone. If it breaks below the bottom of the gap, you're going to see that middle Bollinger Band tested. The downside risk is if the middle Bollinger Band breaks, it could come down, test these lower moving averages, possibly drop down to that 50-day simple moving average. So it's going to be really important that it holds that 420 support zone. Okay, let's look at Xxii. Very sweet move today. Closed up nearly 10%. So this was one of the top performing marijuana sector stocks. You could see it did come up here, and it filled the jar, back to the July high close resistance level, and you can see these wicks were hitting this level, but they were failing to break. Today it finally closed above the top of the jar, so that does signal more upside potential. The close today was above the upper Bollinger Band, so you could see the candles work back into the bands. What you want to see is this the high close from back here in July. You want to see that level turn into support. It'd be best if it stays above this 290, 295 level. If it pulls back into the bands, you have the EMA 4 at 289. As long as that level's holding, the chart is super strong and the bulls are in control. Okay, if you look here, there is a big volume spike following a multi-day run. You know, this could be the little climax spike with the upper wick. You can see people took profits. If like I said, if the candles work back into the bands, it's going to be best if it can stay above that 295 level. Okay, let's look here at Xxii on the monthly chart. This gives you more of an idea of where this could be headed. Look how they've just been stair climbing it higher ever since the low down here in May. They came down here in May, bounced it, and they've just been walking it higher. I guess the low was in April, and so it's working its way back up to the January high close resistance level. That's lined up right here with this upper Bollinger Band, right here at 343. So it's going to be all about breaking this 345 to 350 resistance zone. If it can close above that level for the month, then it could run back up to this high from January and the high close from back in 2014. That high close is right up here around 430 or so, right above this 425 level. That's going to be the target if it can break above that 345 resistance zone. If it comes up here and it hits this 345, 350 level and it fails to close above, that could signal a temporary top. Notice how the candles are writing EMA 4 at 283. This is a monthly chart. This is a long-term chart, and this shows that there is a nice strong uptrend going. As long as the EMA 4 supports holding, the signal is to keep riding. Keep in mind there is this declining volume pattern. So notice as they're stair climbing it higher, volume is decreasing. That is a red flag. You want to see increasing volume. You know, the buyers are tiring as the share price is rising, and so that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, the new uptrend started back here when it got above the middle Bollinger Band back in 2017, and the candles have been above the middle Bollinger Band ever since. Okay, one more to leave you with is TRTC. So yeah, this one had a big pullback. This is a United States marijuana company. It pulled back for 5 days in a row, and then today there was a technical bounce. It formed a bullish one white soldier reversal pattern. I should have that pattern up for you, but yeah, so it formed this a bullish reversal pattern. So we'll be looking for bullish reversal confirmation, and it also closed above EMA 4 at 183. You can see all these red candles were below that level. If it can break above EMA 8, that's this 188 level, and then get above the middle Bollinger Band at 192, then it could get a reversal going. You know, possibly try to get this previous uptrend fired back up. If those levels turn into resistance or it closes back below EMA 4 at 183, that's going to signal downside risk. It needs to bust through those levels to be a good play. But this is one to keep an eye on. If it closes above 192, that would be very bullish. Okay, thanks for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, please come check out the chat. All right, thank you.